and this is a great stage for Snake. I'm not complaining about it, but it's super, super important.
Yeah, so the stage list obviously hazards off the starters are Battlefield, FD, PS2, Smashville, and Town and City. And then counter picks are available are Kalos, Lilac, Cruise, Yoshi's Story, and Small Battlefield.
Okay, yeah, this is a little bit more of a liberal list, if I have to say so myself. It's definitely going back a year or two, but
the Lilac inclusion.
Yeah, the Lilac inclusion, I'm shocked. I have no qualms with it as a Snake player, but I think I stand in minority with that.
Yeah, that's entirely fair to say. I'm personally a fan. Not that my characters necessarily benefit from it a lot. I play Roy and PT,
right.
But to each their own.
Right. I love Lilac. I love stage variety in general. You know, give me the jank. I want to see it. I want to see people learn and adapt on the fly with certain things. But speaking of which, gotta learn and adapt to the Bowser versus Link matchup. So Huggles versus D20. I'd imagine this matchup's pretty even. Overall, you know, Link definitely a hard enough hitting character. Definitely has a good advantage take, good ledge trapping, all the tools you need to take on Bowser. And Bowser, of course, on the opposite end, definitely has the weight and the ability to play the risk-reward game to take on pretty much any character in the game, in my opinion. Well, I shouldn't say that. Most characters in the game.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say. PS2 just seems like the classic pick here. Obviously, Link is going to benefit from it as a zoner, but it doesn't look like it's making too much of a difference. Bowser obviously being a heavy, this is as even as a game can get.
Oh, yeah. And that's the one thing I have to, oh, man, wow, such a good two-frame right there from D20. Excuse me, I'm taking my time learning. Trying not to get names wrong.
You're good.
But, okay, unfortunately.
I got D from a D20.
One thing I was going to say, and this is like my general rule of thumb against Bowser, if your percents are within 10% of Bowser, you are losing. It's weird to say, but Bowser's so heavy and he has so much damage potential that any particular moment of time, if you're not actively up 60% or if you don't actively have him on the ledge, he's usually in a better spot than you are.
Yeah, and obviously Bowser is the straight hit king. I mean, an F tilt will kill you at 100% if you're on the edge of the stage, and then he's also got grab mix-ups.
Oh yeah, and then of course up B out of shield.
Yes.
Oh, and I like the call out from D20 there. Probably knew that Huggles was going to hold down to go past the ledge with the up B right there, but just off on the timing. And now this is where it begins. And this is where I think is the most important part against Bowser. Percent's actually not that much important. Neutral is actually not that important against Bowser. You can win it so many times, and Bowser can still just Bowser you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to capitalize. Nice. You have to capitalize when you have him above you or on the ledge in those disadvantaged spots.
Right. And obviously nobody should ever be using Bowser down air unless you're like trying to two-frame. That was the prime example of why. You got Link F smashed as the punish at what, like I think it was at like 100.
Oh yeah, more than enough time to punish it with pretty much any button that Link chooses. So great stuff there from Huggles. Holding down the forward, actively keeping up some pretty solid neutral, not making it easy for D20 to get any kind of hits in. Oh, nice. Ooh, okay, conversions, I see you.
He's abusing D20 playing correctly against zoners, which is patiently with shield by doing grab after grab after grab. And there's the down air again.
Yeah, that's going to do it.
Yeah, that's, I mean, up B out of shield was an option, but I think he probably could have used any move from his arsenal and it would have been fine.
Oh, yeah, probably.
That just hits probably the best hitbox, or, excuse me, the best blast angle that you could hope for on the edge of PS2.
Oh, yeah, definitely right there. And one thing I do want to point out again with Huggles' gameplay, he did such a good job of, like, getting the damage was there, yes, but your mentality against Bowser should not be, hey, I'm trying to maximize my damage output as much as possible. It should be keeping Bowser in those tough spots, keeping him above you, keeping him on the ledge. Even if you have to kind of forego damage, like let's say you just want to do a safe ledge trap with Link Nair or something like that, you're not getting a kill from like a sour spot Nair, but you're keeping him in that spot till eventually you get to a point where Bowser's recovery is, you know, vulnerable enough for you to just outright kill him. And I think that's pretty much how you have to beat this character, and Huggles definitely doing a great job of displaying exactly that. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense to me. I do appreciate, I mean, as I had already mentioned, whenever people are trying to play against you as Snake, approaching correctly, safely with shield. I think it was what was even more impressive was Huggles being able to recognize that how safe D20 was approaching with shield on stock 2 and start to abuse it immediately, and that's where we saw the game really run away, was mid stock 2.
Oh yeah, 100%. And okay, D20 coming out with the counter pick. I believe I saw Smashville being chosen. definitely a great choice for Bowser. Definitely going to keep him as close as possible. There's less patience required because, you know, there's less stage. Only so much space you can back up.
Yeah, Link's not exactly going to make use of being on the top platform in the way that Bowser being able to use it as a mix-up option for recovery or for just, you know,
pretty much anything. Yeah.
Really,
like,
yeah.
Landing forward air is scary. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Covers way too much space to actively challenge for most characters, but right now, Huggles actively staying up on the platform and getting the control of the stage. So this is, you know, this is kind of the trade-off for Smashville, right? You have less space, so Bowser definitely does have an easier time getting to Link. But at the same time, if you're under that platform and you have projectiles and you're playing the way Huggles is playing, it's so difficult to get back to neutral.
Yeah, I can definitely see the challenge there. And this is where we really start to see Bowser struggle. Yeah.
Yep, nice call out right there.
There's absolutely no mix-up, no recovery mix-up you can do with Bowser. I mean, he's got his up B, and you can either do it high or you can do it low.
Yep, that's it. And that's why, despite what it looked kind of silly to see D2 overshoot like that, but I think that's actually the correct choice in most circumstances. Take the hit and try to get back to neutral in a way you can. You're Bowser, you can afford to take tons of hits, right?
Yeah.
So at least you get your opponent to back up and think about where you're covering, but right now, Huggles on top of it, covering pretty much every option that D2 has chosen so far.
Yeah, D20 is playing a lot like Link is challenging him in the air, and that's the one thing that Huggles actually isn't doing at all is air-to-air challenges. So these loose fares coming out from Bowser aren't doing much. Oh, wow. What a great confirm. Good stock trade.
Oh, yeah, definitely worth it.
Highly worth. But yeah, that's like one of the first air-to-airs that we saw from Link. But he's doing these air dodges and he's doing these fares as though Link is trying to attack him in the air, and all that's happening is this. We're just seeing a bunch of ground game punishes.
Right, and I like Huggles' recognition there with the throws too. Actively setting up tech chases instead of going for outright raw damage, right? Bowser's tech rolls aren't particularly great as well, given his large frame. So definitely another place where you can abuse Bowser. And Boomerang to cover, going high, takes the hit.
Now this is the struggle with Smashville, is if you are on the platform and you're in this, that's it. You're in a rough spot. Well, that was a well-deserved win from Huggles. It started off really close, but Huggles is the player that adapted the best